There was a new trailer released for the upcoming Twilight Zone remake thing. I think this is the third reboot series. We had the one in the 80s. We had the one in the early 2000s with Forrest Whitaker. And now we have this one, which will be on CBS All Access, their new Netflix thingy, hosted by Jordan Peele.
Okay, so
what are we thinking here?
Well, so you and I both watched the trailer before we started recording here. First of all, if you haven't seen this trailer, watch it, because it definitely hits on a lot of notes for me. I have a really good feeling about this reboot. So the few things I do want to point out: perfect execution of a remastered version of the soundtrack. You hear this sort of eerie original Twilight Zone revamp music playing throughout the whole thing. Great cast so far, even aside from Jordan Peele, who when he turns and looks at the camera, it's it's like he's looking into your soul.
Don't look at them. Don't look at them. Look at me.
Oh my god, I love it. Beyond him, we see Adam Scott from Parks and Rec. We see Tracy Morgan, who he's the most ridiculous man alive. But honestly, I want to see him in this thing. I love him.
We see John Cho.
Exactly.
Sulu. In the Star Trek movies.
So it's nice to see that they're getting this decent cast together for him. I really haven't seen a weak link. It's hard to tell based on this initial thing if we're seeing multiple clips from multiple episodes, or if we're just seeing parts selected from a single episode that just involves multiple storylines within that episode.
Yeah, well, I think we can tell that there's different characters that are the focus of each cut. So I think it's multiple episodes. One thing I like is that there's clear callbacks to some old episodes. I don't know, I see a guy in a plane, I automatically think to the Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. The one with William Shatner.
Gremlin on the side of the plane?
Yeah. And here's the funny thing. That episode starred originally William Shatner, Kirk Star Trek, everybody knows that. But they also you see a quick close-up of that little fortune tell, troll head, demon head, I don't know what to call it, thingy, which there was another episode in Twilight Zone where this guy and this woman, they go into a little diner on their stop. They're getting their car fixed while they're on their trip. And this thing, they put a penny in it, and it'll tell them a very short fortune or something like that. He'll ask a question, a yes or no question, and it'll spit out an answer that's more or less a positive or a negative. And you see that exact thing, in a very short cut. Now, another funny thing is William Shatner also starred in that episode.
Neat.
The Star Trek connection, which we will also continue after this. But yeah, go on.
So I do want to say, I can't honestly imagine a better choice for host of the series than Jordan Peele. He's become the greatest horror director of his generation. He's become the biggest name in horror of his generation. Between Get Out, which sort of gained cult classic status immediately, Us, which that's this new movie coming out later this year, looks really good, and now this, whoever would have thought that the less famous of Key and Peele would become this big,
didn't they say that he was more or less the brains behind most of the writing, and then the other guy was always the the over the top acting?
I heard it was always a pretty even partnership. But, who really knows, what happens behind the scenes.
Yeah, and the best skits were always the ones that had a weird twist.
Yeah.
And, where are they now? You have Peele, he won an Academy Award, right, for something?
For Get Out, yeah, he won for Best Screenplay, I believe.
Yeah, and then you have Key, who starred in the failed Predator reboot.
Yeah, he's had a few successes, Keegan-Michael Key, since they broke up, I don't want to even say broke up, because it was a pretty amicable split. It's he's been in a few movies. He was just in that show Friends from College, which unfortunately just got canceled. I saw the first season, and I enjoyed what I saw of it. And that is, it has its moments. Beyond that, he's had a few pretty decent movie roles. He was in the Tomorrowland, that Disney movie from a few years back that no one saw.
Was that the one with George Clooney?
Yeah.
No one saw that.
Hugh Laurie. I actually did see it. It wasn't terrible. It was just unmemorable, really. Yeah, look, I don't think Keegan-Michael Key is going anywhere. It's just, it's definitely a sort of different career trajectory.
Well, I hope he's going up.
career
I think
trajectory.
he deserves.
Yeah, no, he's
good
awesome.
roles.
I'd love to see him succeed. You know.
Yeah, but I guess the main point is, I think this new Twilight Zone is in good hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all, Stan.